Well, hello, it's Wednesday, so it must be time for Woolly Hat's Wednesday WIP. My hair's gone a bit funny. Never mind. So here we are underneath the damson tree, and to prove it, I have a damson. They're coming along really well. Soon it'll be damson picking time. This morning I was picking plums and autumn fruiting raspberries and even a late bit of rhubarb, so it's all happening in the garden. However, I do still have time to knit and crochet, you'll be pleased to know. So, what have I been up to? Well, I have finished Mr. W socks. Here they are. Lovely socks. So this yarn here is from the Woolly Tangle, and she is based in North Wales, and I bought the wool when we went to the Cumbria wool gathering. And the rust colour is West Yorkshire Spinners, so they go really nicely with the cuffs and the heels and the toes. So Mr. W will be wearing those pretty soon. And you think, well, what's Harriet done with these? Why are they on these things? Well, this is to block the socks. And what does that mean? Well, blocking the socks, or you should, any sort of knitwear or even crochet, when you've been working with it, you've crunched it all up and you've had it in your hands and this, that and the other. And to make sure that it's the right shape, it's useful to block your work. So these are little gadgets. I think I got this free from a magazine or something, but they are, you can buy wooden ones as well. So there we go. They're just metal things like that. I suppose you can make them with a coat hanger, who knows, if you don't mind the faff. So the idea is that it stretches them out there, and you can pull them into shape and make sure that they're the right length. It's also good to dampen them a bit and let them dry so that they're nice and flat, and they look really nice. So some people don't bother, they just stick them on the feet, and that's fine, but especially if you're going to give them a present, I think it's nice to really block those out. So Mr. W will have his toties warm this winter, so that's great. The shade, by the way, is Winter Sunrise, I think it's called, but it's rather yummy collection of colours there. So, having finished some socks, what am I going to do now? Well, I haven't started a new project. I've gone to my pile of WIPs, and I have dug out this. So this is one I've been doing for a while now. So this is a Rowan pattern from magazine number 66, and it's by Kalina Cowell. I don't really know much about her, but I thought, oh, that looks nice. Anyway, I've had this book for some time, and done a couple of patterns from it for me and other people. And then I think it was about 18 months ago, who knows, time flies. I thought, well, I need to sort through my stash and see what I've got, and wouldn't it be nice to be able to do something like that? So I found some felted tweed, which is Rowan, of course, which this pattern is based on, but I also found lots of other stuff. So I've done the front. So there we are. It's quite big and baggy, so there's two pieces to the front. So there you go. So this is fairisle technique. So you use two colours at any one time. No more than two colours, it's not fairisle then. So you might be able to see there, it's two colours on each row. So they've got green and blue, and here you've got blue and yellow, and then there's turquoise and other things there. So it's a fairisle technique. So it uses lots of different wools, and that's great if you're using stash, because you don't necessarily need the correct colour match all the way through. So you've got different job lots or things like that, then well, that's good. The other thing is that I'm using lots of different types of yarn because it's stash, and it seems to be working okay. It's all wool based. I wouldn't mix cotton and wool, but let's see. So I've got this. That's from Coastal Colours, who are based in Fleetwood, and that's I think it's merino and other luscious things. It really is nice. And I bought this at I think it was a pop-up wool show a few years ago before COVID. I was going to do some brioche knitting, but I never got round to it. And I thought, well, it's actually quite expensive, but it's really nice wool. And I thought, well, what shall I do with it? Shall I save it for a specific thing? So with one skein, what you can do, a hat or a bag or something like that. No, so I've used it in here. So that's one of them there. This is also something else from Coastal Colours, and that's a blue face Leicester. and that's double, it's all double knit. I've also got this, which is a tweed effect. It's from Jenny Howe, who's based in Berwick-on-Tweed, and we just happened to come across her shop, and she spins all her wool. And this one is Blueface Leicester and Corriedale wool, and Corriedale's a hard-wearing wool, and it's a very tweedy effect, so the flecks of orange and things like that. And again, it wasn't a cheap wool, and I could save it for a hat or something, but really, how many hats do you actually need? So there's that there. I'm also using one of my favourite yarns. This is Blueface Leicester Colour Lab. Oh, it's 100% British wool with Blueface Leicester in, from West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's a lovely go-to sort of usable yarn, which is great. And as I said, I've got some felted tweed, which is merino and alpaca, and I've also got some of this. Oh, there's a stitch marker there, which is Rowan Moordale. It's left over from a jumper I was knitting, so I had 2 skeins left. I don't know why, I overbought, which is Blueface Leicester and alpaca, British alpaca. So all of those are going into there, and it is quite a nice thing, although you do have to concentrate. It's more of a listening to the television than watching the television while you're doing this. So all those bits of wool. So that's that. So it's coming out quite nicely. So the rules I've followed are, it's all double knit and it's all woolly based, so hopefully it should turn out fine. So what's coming up? Well, this weekend is the Pop-Up Wool Show in Port Sunlight, which I won't be able to go to this year because I'm going to London and I'm going to see ABBA. I should be a dancing queen. However, if you want to go, it's a great little show to go, and it's on Saturday, I think. So have a look on there. I have also bought tickets for Yarndale, so I'm going on the Sunday, the 24th of September, I think it is. It's nearly the last weekend in September, and so that would be nice to look around and look for inspiration. So, how am I going to stop myself buying lots of wool, having used up lots of my stash in this? How am I going to prevent my stash growing more? Well, I always go round the wool shows once just to see what all the stands are like. And if anything jumps out at me, I make a note and then go back later. I always go through my projects before I go, and some of my WIPs, and see what future projects I might want to do, have a look into magazines and things like that, and have a look at the wool, and I photocopy the pattern so that I can take that round. And the great thing about the show is you get all these unusual wools, so it's unlikely that a standard, say a Rowan pattern, something that you might get here, some people will be selling Rowan wool, but there'll be a lot of other double knit wool that you might want to use. So how do you know how much to buy? Well, if you look at the actual, if you look on your label, it will tell you how much yarn there is in your skein. So this one is 230 metres or 251 yards in old money. So if you've got a pattern that requires 5 balls of this make, you would need 5 times 230 metres. So when you're looking at wool in your show, look at the meterage rather than the actual weights, and especially because some wools are heavier than other, and certainly cotton is heavier than yarn. So have a look at that. So be prepared, and be very wary about buying something just because it looks nice, because otherwise it'll sit in your stash like some of this has, and it won't get used, and you think, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. So that's it. And I would set a limit on how much you're going to spend, because sometimes you can spend so much in these shows, and then break all your rules and buy too much stash and come home with lots of wool. But there we go. Hopefully I shall be restrained at Yarndale. It's great for looking at new things going on and what's happening. Anyway, I've rambled on so much. It's nearly 10 minutes, which is a huge Wednesday WIP. Anyway, I hope you're... sorry, I keep knocking the thing here. I hope you're well and doing fine and got lots of nice projects. And hopefully I will see you next week after I have been to ABBA. Bye for now.